What's going on, Colts Nation? I appreciate you joining me for another video. Today, we're going to have a conversation about our GM, Chris Ballard. Okay, a lot's been said one way or the other. I'm somebody who some might even try to call a Chris Ballard apologist. I think Chris Ballard, over time, given the circumstances and given the situations, has been good. He's drafted pretty well. A lot of the guys that he resigns are his own guys, but he gives them fair contracts. I think we're getting Michael Pittman Jr. for a fair contract. I think Kenny Moore is underpaid, to be completely honest with you. And then when you think about some of the guys that he's paid, like they're some of the best players at their position, right? Michael Pittman Jr., one of the better receivers in the league. One of the, if I had to guess, I'd say probably top 15, right? There are a lot of really good receivers right now. Michael Pittman Jr., probably top 15 in the NFL. Zaire Franklin, top 5 at his position. Kenny Moore, the best at his position in terms of being a nickel cornerback and everything that he can do. He's been the best for a long time. Okay, Jonathan Taylor, Quentin Nelson, Ryan Kelly, all these guys are some of the best at their position. And these are guys that have been drafted by Chris Ballard, except for Kenny Moore. Obviously, Kenny Moore wasn't drafted by Chris Ballard, but Chris Ballard took a chance on Kenny Moore and paid Kenny Moore before he ever really played his snap, right? It wasn't like a one-year prove-it deal. Got a multi-year deal with the Colts after being let go from the Patriots early in his career. So Chris Ballard doesn't take a whole lot of big swings. And that's something that I think, given the situation, I've been okay with, right? Andrew Luck retires, and he was trying to find the answer at quarterback and having to spend money on quarterbacks, right? Ended up paying Jacoby Brissett, $25 million for a year, and then Phillip Rivers comes in, $25 million a year. And these aren't exact now. I don't remember exact contracts, but I'm pretty sure it was all right around 25 and 25 for both Jacoby and Phil. Then the Carson Wentz contract, which I believe was like $32 million or something like that. Then the Matt Ryan contract. And none of these things have worked out, right? Phillip Rivers ended up that year, the Colts were pretty good. They almost beat Buffalo in the playoffs. So that was a good season, and that kind of worked out, but then he retired. So the quarterback situation just hasn't been there, and the money situation really hasn't been there for the Colts. So given the situation, like, at what point was Chris Ballard supposed to really go all in? He's trying to find a quarterback that he might be able to have at least for a couple of years, and he never was able to really get that. So why would he, go out and get all these different players, right? And when he went and got Matt Ryan, he also went and got Stephon Gilmore. And I think that was the time where we really saw that he was trying to go and get it. Okay, but then you think about, some of the trades that he's come up with, right? The Carson Wentz trade, the Matt Ryan trade, and what was given up for that, and the amount of money given up to those guys. And when you think about it, like, yeah, he might be a little gun shy. And as a fan, I can understand that. Like, he's kind of swung and he's missed, right? But again, he does good in the draft. A lot of times the guys that he brings in as free agents to fill whatever role it might be generally do a pretty good job. Now, there's the Taven Bryan, who came in last year, didn't do well. Now, there's also articles out there and people out there talking about how he had to fill in for Grove at nose tackle instead of playing a 3-tech, which could affect Taven Bryan's game. We'll see what happens this year now that Raekwon Davis is on the team. But either way, there's definitely a case to be made where Chris Ballard's not completely at fault, and you can kind of understand why he went the way he went. But if you saw the thumbnail for this one, where's the urgency? That's the big question here, is where's the urgency for Chris Ballard now that we have our guy? Okay, we're not worried about, yes, okay, the questions out there, is Anthony Richardson going to stay healthy? I get it. Okay, the idea is that your starter is just going to stay healthy. If he doesn't, you have Joe Flacco behind him. Okay, we got that settled. We have our starter. We have a really good backup. So when you go beyond that, it's like, now that we have a quarterback on his rookie deal, this is the time where you go get it, okay? And that's where what I talked about a lot on this channel as we were approaching the offseason, started the offseason, was Chris Ballard, like, this is the time. If you're ever going to go get it, this is the time you go get it. Okay, and again, he's re-signed a lot of his own players. Okay, a lot of guys that we had last year getting re-signed for this year. And my issue with that is that this team went 9-8, and yes, that was with Gardner Minshew. If Anthony Richardson steps in, there's a good chance they may even win 11 or 12 games last year. So that might be where Chris Ballard's thinking is if our guy stays healthy and continues to develop, we should be good enough for whatever they're about to try to get in the draft, assuming they're going to get a receiver at some point. But like again, where's the urgency? Why are we not? And there have been people talking about Irsay's money situation and how all that goes. You know, being able to do guaranteed money. Does he have that money up front that he can just start doing that and start reworking contracts? But it's people's job to be able to figure out how to make it work and how like there just has to be an organizational agreement. Like, hey, we're trying to win right now. This is our best opportunity with who we have to try to go get it. And there are different things that you can do, right? It doesn't have to be go get L'Jarius Sneed, right? Give away draft capital and pay $22 million to L'Jarius Sneed. It doesn't have to be that, but there are options at different positions and people continue to get signed. People are going different places. You know, Mike Williams is going to the Jets, is the most recent one as of the time of this recording. So there's a lot happening, but not with the Colts. The Colts bringing back a lot of their own guys. I want to see this team get better in a different way. I want to see Chris Ballard really go after it like some other GMs do. Now, do I want him to put us in a bad position doing so? Of course not. So there are limitations to this thing. That's why I go back and forth. Like you don't want to completely mess up the future and end up putting us behind a couple of years to have a good couple of years and maybe still not even win a Super Bowl because your quarterback on his rookie deal is still so young and figuring it out, right? There's risk to these things. But Chris Ballard, I hope he figures it out. I just want there to be more urgency. Do something. Go out and get somebody that you know is going to make the team better right off rip. I think Raekwon Davis is an underrated signing, to be completely honest with you. But outside of that, like go do something that isn't just re-signing your own guys. Okay, there's still some cap room available. You can maneuver people around. Some of these contracts, you can be able to maneuver them around. But again, there has to be a little bit of an organizational agreement that these things can happen. So hopefully we're able to figure something out. I want to know what your opinion is on Chris Ballard, how he's handled things in the past, how he's handling things right now. But, you have now heard my opinion on this. What do you think about that? You let me know any of that down in the comment section. Of course, don't forget to subscribe with notifications on. As promised, we're going to be talking about the secondary here in a little while. So make sure you get notified for that and make sure you get notified for any updates, news and updates that happen for the Colts. I'll get to you guys as soon as I possibly can. And with that said, I appreciate you stopping by for another video. As always, take care of yourself, take care of each other, and go Colts.